Good afternoon from Thailand, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I am reflecting on how much love and compassion we have for one another. And I thought this is a concept or ideas that I have shared quite a bit in my videos, and I guess you would know how important I feel love and compassion are for so many different things. And today I thought I'd bring up an idea that I've shared before, but I thought it was a good time to refresh this in everyone's mind. I wanted to bring up the idea that the more I think of you as me, the more compassionate I can be towards you, the more loving I can be. And love, again, here is purest sense. So purest sense of compassion, purest sense of love. We know that when we have a bias, so this is my family, this is my child, this is my parent, this is my grandparent, this is my cousin, someone that's related to me, we might have a bias of this is somewhere I can share love and compassion easily. And again, we've got the reason because of. Meanwhile, if it's just pure love and compassion, there's just love and compassion. There's no reason needed. And this is something that I've noticed happens for all professions and certainly all families too. We'll see that when a parent is very similar to a child, and oftentimes a parent might say, oh yes, so-and-so in our family is much like the father, and this one's much like me, the mother, or vice versa. But if it's a father speaking, same thing, that this one's more like her mother and he's more like me, but she's more close to him. And whoever the parent is closer to is usually the person they perceive is more like them. And whoever the child is closer to is often the one that they feel is more like them. So the gentler child will be with the gentler parent, or at least feel like they're more similar and feel stronger with that gentler parent. And vice versa, the strong and stubborn child will be closer to the strong and stubborn parent just because they see similarities. Now, if we see this, we can help teach this to people that we are around. So whether our families, our colleagues, or co-workers, by example, because we can understand this and do something completely different when we're working from an unconscious space, or we can see that the more similar I think someone else is to me, the more likely I treat them with love and compassion. I was trying to think of an example I could share with you today, and today I thought I wouldn't use a particular quote, but the example I thought of is a couple. A couple just gets married, and they're so excited to be together, and they're in their bed, and they're totally with each other. And there's not even a centimeter between them. They're so joined. And they're so happy when they sleep. They have to hold each other. They have to touch each other. Their feet can touch each other. Their hands can touch each other. Their faces can be up against each other. Anything. And it feels so nice. Now give that a few years. And what do we hear? Can you move on to your side of the bed? And this is so funny because it's not uncommon. And yet, when it's happening, it's usually been with some time. And the more time we have, the more we want our own things. That we don't want that our space is imposed on. So then that would mean in physical location. So this is even in a particular bed. It could be in rooms. I need space. So as the child grows up, they want their own room, not the room shared with a sibling. And then as the child gets even older, wants their own house. And then, of course, maybe move to another city. Or we see this in work, where it's like, I want a bigger office, or an office away from that noise over there. And so we start separating ourselves this way. When we do, we also subconsciously and unconsciously start thinking of our colleagues that we might have been sitting very close with, or even our family that we were very close with, as other. They're so different. They're so different. Yeah, in that room, in that office, in that department, they're very different from this room, this office, this department. We think this way, they think that way. And families can do this to each other too. And this, again, if we can start with ourselves and start realizing, how do I separate myself from you? And yes, there will be different mannerisms. There could be different cultures. There could be different religions. And if I am aware that I'm actually using these as measuring, this is better, this is not as good, this is I'm better, they're better, and we measure. When we measure and compare, we don't give the same respect to another as we give to ourselves, because we usually give ourselves the most respect. And again, if we put ourselves down, that's also an ego space. Whether we think we're better than another person or less than another person, it's an ego space. When we are thinking of, let me see what's the best in that person, that's very much like me. So I can say that this hand is stronger than this hand because I'm right-handed, yet I try to see that, oh, this hand can do this and this hand can do this. So both part of me. And it's the same thing with children, with parents, with family, with friends, with colleagues. And today I'd love for you to take a minute to just see, do you try to unite in your mind, or do you unconsciously or sometimes consciously separate? And when we separate, we build the ego. So the ego does like to divide and separate, and soul energy, pure soul energy, likes to unite and harmonize. Today, I wanted to remind you about this and share an example that I had today. It was so wonderful. Right now, I'm in Bangkok, and I can say I just finished a meal at my favorite restaurant across the street. It's just across a parking lot, and it's very heavy rain today. And so when I finished my meal, it became very heavy rain, and I just had to cross the parking lot to come back to the hotel. Yet, it was heavy, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll just take a little while and see if the rain calms down a little bit, then take my leap through that rain. But it wasn't seeming to calm down, so I thought, might as well just head over. And this gentleman who had been actually welcoming guests to a hotel that's actually very close but behind this one, he happened to be holding out umbrellas for the guests of the hotel. And he has actually helped me in the last couple of days, because some of you know that I love fresh flowers in my hair. And today I didn't go to get fresh flowers, but the other days that I've been here, I have gone a few times, and I always ask him if I can pick some flowers, and he always helps me cut some, and I get to put them in my hair, and that makes me happy. And so that's the only times that I've seen him. So I literally will say maybe I've seen him 2 times, and he's done that for me upon request. Only because I tried to break the flowers after he said I could take them and they wouldn't break off easily, so he needed a knife. And so wonderful. That's the only couple of times that I've met him. And today I saw him waiting with umbrellas to bring in guests, which is again behind this hotel. And it was so lovely to see. Majority of people that were out were either wearing raincoats or actually carrying umbrellas. And the guests that he was bringing to his hotel, he was definitely carrying umbrellas or handing them umbrellas. And I just put on a little towel that I had over my head, and it's a very light towel, and I started walking in this heavy rain. He just looked over and rushed over with an umbrella and walked me to my hotel. And it was such a simple act, and I am so appreciative. Why? Today here in Bangkok, it's low season, so it's not very busy, and perhaps because of the rain today itself too, it's not very busy in the hotels. And this is something for us to recognize too, that the busier we get, the less we act from a pure space of love and compassion. And the busier we are with anything, but certainly if I've got something I've got to do, I might not take that extra time to help someone out of pure compassion. And this was my treat today, that he was waiting between cars and knew that maybe another person wasn't coming just yet, or maybe he was waiting just until I was ready to go, because I know that he'd been watching me for a little while, and literally just rushed over to help with this umbrella. And I just think that's so nice, because when we get busier, oftentimes it's like, oh, the next person is going to be here, so I better just stay here and not move with my umbrella, or the actual guest won't get the umbrella. And we become very much about me and mine. My company, my hotel, my service is for them. My loyalty is with them. When we are in that easier space, the mind is open, and we recognize that, wow, I can help another person just as I can help people at my own hotel. Over time, we do this with so many things. So even in a workplace, if we are friends with someone, we might help them. If they're doing some work and we've got a little bit of extra time, we help them. When our time gets busier, we don't help so much. And the same thing happens in families and certainly in healthcare too, where we can see one nurse might help another, a doctor might help a nurse, just in basic tasks. And as soon as everyone's busy, well, you know that's your job and this is my job, and that's not what I do. We become less generous as well as less compassionate. So today, I would love for you to see, are you separating and dividing? Because yes, ego separates and divides, and soul unites and harmonizes. Today, I hope you unite and harmonize. I hope that it doesn't take a rainy day, it doesn't take an empty space of time for you to recognize some of the needs that are right around us, because this is the energy we're sharing with the world. I wish you a fabulous, harmonizing day and night ahead. I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day or night, everyone. Bye-bye.